Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. The Ministry of Health in Trinidad and Tobago say nowhere in the Twin Island Republic is safe from COVID-19. This story takes the lead in our 1122nd edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday 24th May 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health in Trinidad and Tobago is warning the population that despite some counties recording lower COVID-19 numbers than others, nowhere in the country is safe from the virus. TV6's Alicia Boucher has the details.
Director of Epidemiology Dr. Abraham says the COVID-19 caseload at present is below the projected level based on data to map a trend from the spike that began in late April.
As the green line, that upward slope that said we'll be going up very quickly in the period between start of May and now. We have seen where, while we did continue to increase, we didn't increase as quickly as that, with the interpretation that some of the measures that we did put in place were in fact beginning to bear fruit.
While the Ministry of Health presents the data of cases recorded from samples taken over at least a 2-day period cumulatively, Dr. Hines says from the positive cases mapped to daily swabbing, there appears to be a slight decline, but this shouldn't be taken for granted.
The highest numbers that we saw so far have been those around the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th of May. And we are now beginning, hopefully, to see slightly smaller numbers attributed to swabbing on each day. But again, we keep an eye on the data to see whether any retrospective data changes those figures.
From a map presented of COVID-19 positive cases across the country, the ministry says densely populated areas and busy road networks continue to experience a large percentage of spread. Geographic Information Systems Manager Roshan Siram Singh indicates that the pattern for epidemiological week 17 and 18, which accounts for April 25th to May 8th, remains almost the same as it relates to high-level spread along the east-west corridor from Diego Martin to Arima, as well as central Trinidad and San Fernando. The numbers for Epi Week 19, which are still being processed, are expected to surpass the 2 previous Epi weeks. Siram Singh is urging people in lower density populations not to be lulled into a false sense of security that their community is safe because high numbers aren't being recorded.
We can't only think about the community that we live in and wonder if it is safe, because we also need to consider those around us. We also need to consider there is still movement taking place in the country. So it's not necessarily accurate to say my community has less cases so we are safe, or my community has more cases so we are less safe. There is nowhere that is really safe in the country.
Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Meanwhile, Anselm Gibbs of TV6 News reports that opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has not taken the COVID-19 vaccine as yet.
Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has criticized the government, saying they have not done enough to get TNT's population vaccinated against COVID-19. On Wednesday, TV6 asked the opposition leader if she has taken the vaccine yet.
Did a PCR test very recently. That test came up negative. I took the view, and whilst I urge people, the only answer is with the vaccines, I took the view that just because I hold a position in public life, that I should not be the first one out there taking the test. My husband took the vaccine because he has the comorbidities, and he has been fine.
She was speaking at a virtual news conference, and she announced the opposition's response to the Prime Minister saying vigils following Andrea Barrett's death contributed to the recent spike in COVID-19 cases.
We'll be filing the motion in the Parliament, a motion of contempt, a privilege motion, with respect to statements made by the Prime Minister in the debate on Monday.
According to Prasad Bisasa, it's based on the statements simply not being true.
And secondly, that the statement must have been done knowingly, deliberately. It is our respectful view that the Prime Minister deliberately misled the Parliament because he knew or ought to have known that those statements were wrong, that they were erroneous, they were false. And how would he have known? He would have known because he attended all the health briefings, the majority of health briefings. He was present when all the experts gave the various statistics, the data.
Even with the government having the majority in the lower house, the opposition plans to press on with the motion when the Parliament resumes.
There is merit in raising matters that touch and concern the conduct of leadership, the conduct of the business of the nation, and therefore it is within our remit. The Parliament, the standing orders, offers this remedy.
Anselm Gibbs, TV6 News.
In other news, a 2-week reprieve for Caribbean students sitting the CXC exams as the Caribbean Examination Council announced that Caribbean exams will be delayed.
CXC Registrar Dr. Wayne Wesley told a regional press conference that the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, and the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence Exam, all scheduled to commence on June 15, will now be held on Thursday, June 28.
To maintain the administration of all papers, CXC will administer the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, examinations in their original format. That is, for CAPE and CSEC, papers 1, 2, and 3-1 school-based assessment, or paper 3-2 for private candidates, and for CCSLC, papers 1 and 2.
All papers.
Secondly, Council approved the delay of the sitting of the regional examinations by a further 2 weeks. This will provide candidates with extra time to prepare for the examinations. Therefore, examinations will commence on Thursday, the 28th of June, 2021, with release of results the last week in September to the first week in October, as previously communicated. Thirdly, the option to defer. The deadline for candidates to register their intent to defer has been further extended to the 31st of May, 2021. So candidates will have up until the end of May to indicate their intent to defer their examinations.
CXC Chairman Professor Sir Hilary Beckles said the decision is supported by the majority of governments and education ministers across the region, the Caribbean Union of Teachers and Students. He noted that the decision was taken on the heels of a recent special meeting hosted by the Council for Human and Social Development.
We listened very carefully to the arguments, and we were persuaded by the arguments coming from the Caribbean Union of Teachers. I wish to really thank our minister. I wish to thank again Minister Bradshaw for making arrangements for us to hear directly from a group of students, and also to see the statistics on students' own opinion and concern. And we were able to garner from the Barbados government the statistical data on students' opinion that factored into our conversation. Then, of course, is the volcanic situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And then there's a state of emergency in Trinidad in respect to the COVID management. And all of this, including the impact of the volcanic ash on the Barbados environment. So these were the early, clear, and pressing issues that really made it clear to us that there had to be an adjustment in the time frame. Some countries wanted a little more than 2 weeks. Some wanted 3 weeks. Some wanted 5 weeks. So there was this diversity based on the specifics of each country's position. But we all realized that practicality was necessary.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Scientists monitoring the Super Volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that erupted explosively on April 9th say, despite seismic activity remaining low since the last major explosion and ash venting on April 22nd, the volcano continues to be in a state of unrest. They warn that escalation in activity can still take place with little or no warning, and that in the last 24 hours, thermal anomalies continue to be detected by the NASA firm's alert system. These have been persistent since the 22nd April explosion. Thermal anomalies indicate that there is a source of heat within the crater, and that most likely from a small body of magma left over close to the floor of the summit crater, the Seismic Research Center SRC of the University of the West Indies said in its latest bulletin. It said that in the last 24 hours, only a few long period and volcanic tectonic earthquakes have been recorded, and that the volcano is at alert level orange, down from the previous red. Volcanologist Dr. Adam Stinton, speaking on the state-owned NBC radio, said that most of the earthquakes recorded over the last weekend were too small to be felt. He warned residents to be careful as the island gears up for hurricane season, which starts on June 1st, and the possibility of more lahars, mudslides, as a result of the rains. June 18th is now the date set for the ruling on whether the Police Service Commission can go ahead and promote officers that have pending disciplinary matters. Hear more in this HGP Nightly News report with Travis Chase.
Those senior ranks of the Guyana Police Force who are eagerly waiting to be promoted will have to wait much longer, since the High Court has put off its ruling on whether the practice by the Police Service Commission of not promoting officers with pending disciplinary matters is lawful. The ruling is now set for June 18, 2021. It was Senior Superintendent of Police Calvin Brutus who had challenged the PSC in court after his disciplinary matter, the PSC, was not completed in time for promotion. The ruling was really deferred because attorney for policeman Brutus has begged the court to file additional submissions. The lawyer in his submission is questioning the operations of the Police Service Commission without judicial scrutiny and have said that the PSC, by the Constitution, does not allow it to act entirely as it sees fit in the exercise of powers conferred upon it. A legal mind has told Nightly News that the filings by the officers should have been thrown out a while ago, since a ruling to this effect had been made 4 years ago. In 2017, former President David Granger had instructed the Police Service Commission not to go ahead with promoting officers of the Guyana Police Force. During that time, a commission of inquiry into the effectiveness of the Guyana Police Force in investigating a June 2015 alleged assassination plot against David Granger was ongoing. In November of 2017, Chief Justice Roxanne George ruled that the then executive violated Guyana's constitution by instructing the Police Service Commission not to proceed with the promotion of several senior officers of the Guyana Police Force. In essence, the court ruled that the commission, in the exercise of its functions, shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable, and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.